My name is Hanalei Steinhardt, Fair Housing and Inclusionary Housing Specialist with the City of Somerville's Housing Division. Today I'd like to share with you an upcoming homeownership opportunity available through the Somerville Inclusionary Housing Program. This condominium, Unit 2, is located at 1252 Broadway, and it is available to households that are income eligible. This affordable homeownership opportunity became available as a result of the Somerville zoning ordinance's inclusionary zoning. Under these guidelines, at the time of permitting this project, 20% of the units were required to be affordable.
In order to ensure that these units remain affordable in perpetuity, the city requires both an affordable housing restriction to be recorded along with the project's master deed, as well as a deed rider recorded for each affordable unit. The restrictions on this deed rider are important for anyone interested in the homeownership program to be aware of, and must be shared with all potential lenders, since not all lenders will accept these restrictions. One restriction is that the unit must be the buyer's primary and principal residence year-round. That also means that it can't be rented, either short or long-term, and in its entirety or by room. This is something that the Housing Division's compliance team will monitor on an annual basis, ensuring that the unit is being used as the household's primary and principal residence. Another restriction is that if the buyer is looking to refinance, the city must be notified, and there must be written consent from the city in order to refinance a unit. In addition, if you are looking to sell an affordable unit, the city must be notified in writing and will be involved in the resale process. Lastly, and a very important point to note, is that the resale prices of affordable units are always calculated by the city. The prices do not guarantee a specific percentage gain in value and are not calculated according to current market values. The city can guarantee that a resale price is never lower than the initial sale price. However, the city must ultimately determine that the resale price is affordable to households in the same tier as were eligible for the initial sale. For example, if a condominium is initially priced and sold to a household making up to 80% of the area median income, a resale of that unit would have to be affordable to households at or below 80% area median income as well.
1252 Broadway number 2 is located in the Teal Square neighborhood of Somerville. The development includes hardwood floors, modern kitchen appliances, and a deeded parking space. Some other features include recessed overhead lighting, island pendant lighting, white shaker luxe cabinets, and quartz countertops. Broadway number 2 has a sales price of $214,401 with estimated monthly condo fees of $29. The unit has a minimum down payment of $6,432 with approximated monthly property taxes of $187.17 per month. The unit is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom unit located on the ground and basement levels. The primary living spaces and half bath are located on the ground floor. Both bedrooms and the 2 full bathrooms are located on the basement level.
Eligibility requirements for this opportunity include a household asset limit of $75,000, which excludes retirement, college, and health savings plans. A head of household may not be a full-time student, and if there are multiple heads of household, both may not be full-time students. And lastly, the household must be income eligible, and those eligibility guidelines are available in later slides. Beyond those basic eligibility requirements are some additional important requirements for this homeownership opportunity. First of all, applicants for our homeownership program must be first-time homebuyers, which in this case means they cannot have owned property or interest in property within the last 3 years. There are some exceptions to this requirement, and those are all detailed in our information and application packet. Applicants must also have completed a first-time homebuyers course, or being enrolled in a first-time homebuyers course that will be complete by the date of the lottery. You should have a certificate or proof of your enrollment in a course to submit with your application. Next, applicants must be pre-approved for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage in order to qualify for an opportunity in the homeownership program. The letter from the lender needs to include an interest rate or range of interest rates. It must cover the price of the unit minus the down payment that the applicant intends to make. And additionally, the approval must have been subject to a credit, employment, and asset verification by the lender in order to meet the requirements of our program. Letters from internet banking sites such as Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage that do not have a physical location in Massachusetts do not meet this requirement. Lastly, applicants must be able to demonstrate sufficient assets to cover the down payment, which is a 3% minimum, as well as closing costs. Individuals to be considered household members include all persons intending to move in and reside in a unit within the first year, related or unrelated. This includes anyone under or over 18 and whether or not they receive income. Please note that for unrelated persons, there must be a documented history of living together prior to the beginning of the application period on May 30th. Household members also include anyone temporarily absent, such as dependents of a head of household that are away attending college. In the instance of joint custody of children, if the child will reside with you 183 days or more of the year, they would also be considered a member of your household. And lastly, in cases of divorce or separation from a spouse or partner, if a process of separation is ongoing, you are required to show evidence of their residency elsewhere. Otherwise, they may be considered a member of your household for the purposes of the Inclusionary Housing Program. In order to determine your household's income eligibility, you can refer to the annual income chart on this slide and the next slide. These guidelines are updated on an annual basis in early to mid-summer, so you should look for the newest guidelines for each opportunity for which you apply. When calculating your income, please note that it should be your gross income, which is not what you take home, but is your pre-tax income. On this slide, you can find the maximum incomes for households at 80% of the area median income. Please note that for opportunities at this level, there is no minimum income set by our program. The affordability of the opportunity is determined in this case by your lender, and you're receiving a pre-approval for a mortgage. In terms of assets, the only assets that the program requires are sufficient for a 3% minimum down payment. However, you should also consider the need to have assets to cover closing costs, which may be around $5,000 to $10,000, or seek an opportunity to receive closing cost assistance. When we talk about income counted in certifications for the program, we refer to all income received by members of the household, monetary or otherwise, and even if a member of the household is temporarily absent. You should take into consideration any anticipated income, as income is calculated looking at the next 12 months following your income certification. We also count interest accrued from assets to which any member of the household has access, including joint accounts, as long as those assets are worth $5,000 or more. It is your responsibility to divulge your income and changes in income accurately. So if you're unsure of how to count your income or of which tier your income will fall into, please reach out to the Inclusionary team and we can help you review your income and asset documentation. Here you'll see some examples of different types of income and assets, and it's important to talk about these forms of income and assets as they're sometimes forgotten. Again, you should consider all income that you anticipate receiving in the next 12 months. What comes to mind for many when they hear income are wages or salary from employment. But also included in income would be unemployment, Social Security or disability benefits, and child support, even if the provider of the child support is in arrears or has fallen behind on payments. Self-employment is also an example of income. Even if it's an unreliable source or you're not paid on a regular basis, it does need to be reported at the time of your income certification. Gig work, fundraising events, or accounts such as GoFundMe, selling of art or profits from yard sales, those are all forms of income, as well as interest or dividends from assets in excess of $5,000. Next, include in terms of assets for this program, besides a standard savings or checkings account, would be mutual funds, investment accounts, and retirement accounts, plus any cryptocurrency that you currently hold, as well as any apps such as Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or Robinhood. We also require a certification of your cash on hand, which should be disclosed in your pre-lottery application. Please note that regardless if there's a balance of $0 or any currency in any account of these types, you should provide documentation of that account. That includes all accounts in the USA or abroad, and joint or shared accounts that any or all members of the household have some access to, even if someone from outside your household has access to that account as well. Here are some examples of questions that we will take into consideration during an income certification, and some things that you should take into consideration as well as you're submitting your application. Examples are whether you'll have any changes in employment or income during the next 12 months. That can include raises, commissions, loss of employment, new employment, seasonal income, which can include overtime during holidays or other times of year, or additional clients or contracts for those that are self-employed. You should also consider your pay frequency, whether it is weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, etc., when you're calculating your annual income. Here are some tips to ensure your reported income is as accurate as possible. First, for household members that are actively employed, it can be beneficial to check with your manager, HR, or union rep about any upcoming changes in hours, anticipated raises, or other changes in income. Next, for all bank accounts held or jointly held by household members, we encourage you to review 3 months of your most recent statements, just to ensure that you know the origin of any all deposits that are being made into that account. You should consider whether those deposits should be considered income that you need to report. When doing an income certification, we review these deposits and do require a notarized affidavit explaining any deposit over $100, or for deposits that are regularly made into that account under $100 that can't be easily verified as other income you've already reported. Next, you should review your federal tax return for all household members. We require each household's federal tax returns for the last 3 years, and also require every page, all schedules, and W-2s for those tax returns. Again, if you know that your income will change within the next 12 months, it's important to disclose that. And once you have reviewed all the previous information, you can calculate your household's gross pre-tax income. We provided our page in our application packets that can be a helpful tool to do this. Along with the submission of a pre-lottery application, to be entered into the lottery, we require that you submit 2 additional documents. First, the mortgage pre-approval letter for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage that meets all of our program's requirements. And secondly, one of the following of a first-time homebuyers course certificate, proof that you're enrolled in a course that will end on or prior to the date of the lottery, or proof that you've completed a course within the past 3 years, even if you don't have a certificate for that course. On mortgage pre-approval letters, such as this sample, we're looking at several things. First, we're making sure that the loan amount covers the cost of the home minus the down payment that the household plans on making. This must be at least a 3% minimum down payment. However, the down payment should be disclosed in the asset section of your application and may be more than 3%. It must be disclosed so we can ensure your eligibility. The pre-approval letter should also include that the pre-approval is for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, which may also be referred to as 360 a month, and it must include an interest rate or range of interest rates that the lender is offering. The expiration date of the pre-approval letter should be valid within the day of the lottery. You should also read the letter carefully to make sure there aren't any conditions that may make it difficult for you to actually receive a loan. As a reminder, we only accept mortgage pre-approvals from actual lending institutions and not from online sites that may provide pre-approvals, such as Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage, or mortgage brokers, but it must be a lender with a physical location in Massachusetts. The second document that we need to determine that your pre-lottery application is complete is proof that you've completed a first-time homebuyers course within the last 3 years, or proof that you're enrolled in a first-time homebuyers course that will end on or before the date of the lottery. The course must be approved by the Massachusetts Homebuyers Collaborative, and you can find a link to their website on this page. Please be aware that the classes on this page are located both online and in person throughout the Greater Boston area. This slide includes all the documentation that needs to be complete and submitted at the time of your pre-lottery application. Your pre-lottery application must be submitted with all supporting pieces of documentation, as we do not accept piecemeal applications and documentation. You may want to save this slide as a personal checklist for your application materials. It's very important to disclose your income as accurately as possible, and the consequences of not disclosing accurately can result in disqualification and loss of an opportunity to purchase an affordable unit. If you have any questions or need help with calculating your household's income, please contact us using the information on the final slide.
The deadline for applications for this affordable homeownership opportunity is August 4th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We encourage households to submit their applications as early as possible, as Housing Division staff reviews applications ongoing as we receive them, and if submitted early enough, we may have the chance to review your application and inform you of any missing or incomplete documentation prior to the deadline. We will not accept any deadlines after noon on August 4th. Currently, we accept applications by the following methods. Our email, which is inclusionary@SomervilleMA.gov, fax at 617-591-3235, mailed to us or brought to us in the form of a hard copy addressed to Somerville City Hall Annex, attention to inclusionary housing, at 50 Evergreen Avenue, Somerville, Mass. 02145.
Once we pass the application deadline, all applications that include the necessary documentation, including a mortgage pre-approval, first-time homebuyers course, or enrollment in a course, will be sorted into the relevant lottery pools. We then assign all applicant households with a unique identifier, which includes some indicators as to the income limit, bedroom size, local preference, etc. of that applicant household. For example, applicants for 2-bedroom units may have a 2B or 2BR in their unique identifier, and applicants for an opportunity at 80% AMI will have an 80. Please review this identifier to understand into which pools you've been entered and your local preference. Those selected in the lottery do not have to be present at the lottery in order to claim their place at the top of the wait list. Once winners are selected, we reach out to each household to complete an income, asset, and tax verification. And at that time, we will request the last 3 months of income verification, 3 months of asset statements, and 3 years of tax returns for the household. We give typically 5 business days or a week for those households to respond and send in initial documentation, so you may want to consider what documentation you have available and in good presentable order and what you will need to prepare. You don't have to have all documentation available during that first period of a week or 5 business days, but you need to at least respond and submit initial documentation in order to proceed. Lastly, if you're found eligible in your income certification, at that time you will receive a proceed letter, and you will have 15 days to sign a purchase and sale agreement and have a home inspection completed. Please note that this is a requirement to have a private home inspection completed for all units through the Inclusionary Homeownership Program. Closing is typically complete about 45 days following the execution or signing by all parties of that purchase and sales agreement.
On this slide, you can find information for the lottery. The video of the lottery should be viewable on YouTube within 24 hours, at which point we will have contacted the winner or winners of the lottery for the opportunity to move forward with their certification process. If you have not heard from us within 24 hours, you most likely were not selected at the very top of the lottery. We will post full waitlists on the Inclusionary website within 2 weeks of the completion of the lottery. The income documentation process often takes a few weeks, but households do not always qualify. So if you are selected second in the lottery for a unit, you may also want to prepare your income and asset documentation for certification. It is unlikely for us to reach the 3rd household on a wait list for a home ownership opportunity. Please note that for home ownership, we do not maintain our lottery lists for resales. So if an opportunity For this unit to be resold happen in the future, we would have a new lottery, and the winner of that lottery would have the first opportunity to purchase.
On this slide are all the necessary documents to be submitted for review by a winning household. We require all 2023, 2022, and 2021 tax returns from household members, including all pages, schedules, and W-2s. We need asset statements for all accounts, including accounts with $0 or negative balances, and all pages of those statements, even if the pages are left intentionally blank. We also require verification of any accounts that have been closed within the last 12 months. In addition, we need 3 months of complete consecutive income statements for all household members. In the case of self-employed household members, we need a year-to-date profit and loss statement, along with a projected profit and loss statement for the following 12 months. If anyone over the age of 18 has no current income, they will need to provide a notarized affidavit, which we could provide a blank copy of. If a household member over 18 is a full-time student, we will need verification from their registrar's office of their student status. If they are in fact studying full-time, their full income will not be counted towards the household's income, rather a portion. Please note that for full-time students, schedules of their classes are not sufficient to provide full-time student status verification. Rather, a letter from the school is required. You should also be aware that it's quite likely we require some additional documentation aside from this list. Every household situation is different, so this list cannot be considered a final and complete list of documentation. Additionally, keep in mind that this is only required documentation for households that have the opportunity to move forward and purchase a unit, not all lottery applicants. So this is not something that you need to have already prepared when you're submitting an application. This last slide includes some additional information about this homeownership opportunity, where to find the information and application packets online, where to find a first-time homebuyers course, and our contact information.